Welcome to Širvintos, home of the first capital of Lithuania, Kernave. You'll find Širvintos district in the east of the country, not far from the capital. Širvintos town is just half an hour away from the capital Vilnius, and it is quite a small district. Its population reaches just under 15,000. While small and relatively unknown on its own, Širvintos district actually has one of the most famous destinations in Lithuania, Kernave town. Kernave is one of the oldest settlements in the country, and its history is extremely important to the Lithuanian identity. For this reason, Kernave archaeological site is protected by UNESCO World Heritage. The site consists of a beautifully situated group of hillforts with views of the vast valley of Neris River. These are some of the most picturesque hillforts in the country, but their importance lies even deeper. The site was thoroughly excavated by archaeologists, who found that this was one of the earliest places inhabited in the region, as far back as 10,000 years BC, right after the glaciers moved further north. The site became more relevant through the millennia until a town was established here, becoming the largest town and the capital of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania in the 13th century. Archaeologists have found many artifacts from this era related to the way of life and pre-Christian religious practices, most of which were previously unknown, as there were no written documents about these times from the Lithuanian perspective. Kernave was the de facto capital of the duchy, although everything here was built of wood, including a castle on the tallest hill fort. The town surrounded it, and on the other hill forts, even sprawling to the valley by the river. Today there is a recreation of the medieval village on the largest hill fort, which is interesting to explore. There is also an archaeological museum nearby, displaying many archaeological finds from the hill forts. But what happened here that there is nothing of the old times visible to us, except of the hill forts themselves and what the archaeologists found in the ground? In the end of the 14th century, Kernave was attacked multiple times during the Crusades of the Teutonic Order. During the last invasion, the people of Kernave set the town on fire and left, never coming back. These days, the hill forts of Kernave are a very popular place to visit, especially during events. There are lots of events throughout the year here, and two of them are very much worth a visit. The Midsummer Festival, Joninės, and Days of Live Archaeology in Kernave. Both of them are held just 2 weeks apart from each other. Kernave hosts one of the biggest midsummer festivals in the country on the 23rd of June every year. The event is held in a traditional pre-Christian style with many different rituals, traditional singing and dancing. Women make wreaths which later they put into the river. Everyone watches the sunset and sings songs to it. At night there is a huge fire, and after it burns out a bit, men jump over it. I went there last year and made a video about it as well. If you would like to learn more about this tradition, I will leave a link to the other video in the description if you would like to watch it after this one. The Midsummer Festival in Kernave is a wonderful way to experience the oldest Lithuanian traditions and feel the mystical spirit of the hill forts at night. Another festival that Kernave is famous for is the Days of Live Archaeology, which gives an opportunity to transport yourself back to the medieval village. It's a sort of recreation of Kernave as it used to be at its peak times of flourishing. The event is usually held on the weekend nearest to the 6th of July, which is the statehood and the coronation of King Mindaugas Day. The event is fun to visit for the whole family. There are many activities to participate in to get to know the medieval lifestyle. Of course, there are fighting tournaments too. There also is a large crafts fair sprawling into the modern-day town of Kernave, where you can find all sorts of handmade things. For nature lovers, Kernave has more to offer. Besides walking around the hill forts, one can go for a walk through the path by the river, which you can connect to another one just outside the town at Baltas Kalnas. The path there starts at a beautiful location called Baltas Kalnas, White Hill in English, with wonderful views of Neris River, which is worth visiting on its own too. But the path is also very appealing. It leads through its surrounding forests with pretty views of the river. It's quite easy and is less than 3 kilometers long. The path is very family friendly. There are some animal sculptures, swings, and more on the way. There also are some sites for picnics and barbecue too, for a peaceful afternoon in nature. From here, let's go further along the river Neris to reach Čiobiškis, a small riverside village. It has a few interesting things here. There is a manor house built in the late 18th century right on the river bank. It is currently private and is available to rent for events, but the park around it is open to the public and leads to a small river confluence to the Neris River. The village also has a beautiful early 19th century church built in a classical style, which is believed to be designed by the same architect who designed Vilnius Cathedral. Also, quite a known thing about Čiobiškis is actually a ferry, which I visited before while traveling to Kaišiadorys district on the other side of the river. Čiobiškis ferry is one of the very few ferries in Lithuania, and it connects Kaišiadorys with Širvintos district municipality through Neris River, as there are no bridges anywhere closer than 30 kilometers away along the river. The ferry itself is the only cable ferry in Lithuania, and it has been operating for more than 80 years now. It normally functions in the warm season from May to November, and it can be an interesting way to get to the other side. One more place in Čiobiškis is a small cave just outside the village. The access there is not marked, but there is nowhere to get lost, as there is only one path through the forest. After having a short walk from the main road by a small stream, we find a sandy cave, an unusual place for Lithuania, as our country's landscape is not known for caves. The only other cave in Lithuania where a person can actually fit inside is Skališkės cave in Vilnius district. Čiobiškis cave is 9 meters deep, but it's not very tall and gets smaller in the deep. However, the rock here is not very stable and it might fall anytime, so be careful. On our way to the district center Sirvintos, let's visit one more unusually sandy place. It is Bartkuškės dune. It's bizarre to find so much sand in the middle of a forest. Walking here feels just like at the Lithuanian seaside, with soft sand underneath the feet. Quite a therapy, just half an hour drive from Vilnius city center. Maybe it's a place to go to when you miss the seaside, but 30 kilometers sound much better to drive than 300? Plus, when I visited here in July, the forest was full of Lithuanian blueberries, and there were quite a few people enjoying this area. Lastly, let's go to the center of the district, Širvintos town. It's not big but has its charm. There are a few cafes in the alley of the town center and a beautiful square by the lake with a sculpture of a lady called Shenta. The name comes from the river that crosses the town, to which it also gave a name, and the lake here is formed from it by a dam. The views of the whole area can be enjoyed by taking a walk through the path around the lake. Further from the center there is also a beautiful white church built in the 19th century with a lovely park next to it. Širvintos really comes alive in winter. For years now, Širvintos is famous for its Christmas decorations. Every year there is more than just a Christmas tree, with a whole Christmas village decor, hot chocolate stands, and Santa's residence. Winter paradise for kids! A lot of people come to visit it from Vilnius. As I also noticed, Vilnius Christmas Village doesn't usually offer anything interesting for kids, while Širvintos is very much family focused, and not just for Christmas, but in general too. In the summer, it is the lakeside of Širvintos that brings the people here. There is a beautiful pedestrian bridge connecting the town center to the beach. The beach itself is fully equipped, even with a slide, plus there is a wakeboarding park next to it for those who would like more action. Overall, Širvintos district seems to me like a place to run away from the crowds of Vilnius, a lovely place for a short stop with kids, or to enjoy the Christmas village in winter. Except of course of Kernave, which will always be one of the most popular destinations in the country for its picturesque hill forts and the history behind them, which are worth a day trip from Vilnius on their own. So, see you in Širvintos and thanks for watching!